hey, you need to stop running Facebook ads if you have a local business, because there's a much better and a new way to get leads, get clients, get referrals, all those things in 2026. So you're probably familiar with this thing right here. This is a Facebook lead form. We are going to completely delete these moving forward in your marketing strategy if you are a local service-based business. So 3 things we're going to cover in this video. Number 1, why do Facebook ads not work anymore? Why are they not as efficient as they used to be, back 10, 15 years ago? Number 2 is the new and much better way, and we're going to break all that down. And then also, more importantly, the step-by-step process of how to set this new system up for your local service-based business. So the first place I want to start here is a little cheeky image. I don't know if cheeky is the right word to use here, but a kind of a funny image. At least I love my dad jokes. But number 1, let's talk about why do Facebook ads not work anymore. So this is a visual representation of what your Facebook ads are doing when you put them out there, right? You are a contractor, local service-based business, a HVAC, roofing, solar company, right? And you are going up to random people and you're saying, hey, can I get your phone number? Can I get your email address? Right? All this very intrusive information to a random person that doesn't know who you are. They don't know your offer. They don't know your service, anything like that. And they're saying, ew, no, get away, you creep, right? It's something similar to this lady's face right here. She's like, ew, what the heck is going on? I don't even know this person, right? So what we want to do is ultimately step away from this. Now, like I said, a very dramatic example of this. You're not physically going out and talking to a woman on the street, but it's kind of the same concept. Now, what I want you guys to understand is the reason that Facebook ads don't work anymore, and I'll just come out and say it because I'm going to talk about it here in a second, is can you run Facebook ads and see results? Yes. But again, there is a much better way because of this concept that I'm about to break down. So this right here, don't read through the entire thing because it could get kind of confusing, but I'm going to accentuate a couple points here. So what this talks about, this is from Eugene Schwartz. He wrote a book called Breakthrough Advertising. Great book if you want to learn everything about advertising and marketing and offers and things like that. Definitely buy that book. But this is the levels of buyer sophistication. So essentially what this means is as you start to put your message out there and let's say run ads or whatever the specific method that you're trying to generate clients through your marketing is, as that specific strategy, let's say again, Facebook ads, been around since 2012, 2013, is as more and more people do it, the buyer level starts to become more sophisticated. And what that means is they just become more aware of how a marketing angle works. So for example, again, if you've been around and been doing Facebook ads for the last 10 or 15 years, is that the lead cost was like $1, right? Like you can get leads inbound, but it's because the end consumer, the people that would ultimately buy your product or service, is they didn't know what a Facebook lead form is. But now 15 years later, is they know that if they put in their name, if they put in their email, and they put in their phone number, is they are going to get absolutely demolished if done right? They're going to get demolished on the phone, right, on their email, with you trying to sell them that service. You or your team that's outbounding them, right? So as time goes on, because that experience has happened over and over and over again, is the strategy starts to become obsolete, right? Now, the other, or I wouldn't say obsolete, again, just not as effective on you as a company for your marketing dollars, right? We want to get the most out of our marketing dollars as possible. Now, the other way that you can kind of look at this in terms of like, buyer sophistication is the skepticism also goes up. So that's also why you're going to get less leads for the amount of money that you put into it. Now, when I'm saying sophistication, right, I'm not just saying like, they have to be a sophisticated, what is it, like, pinky up, or like that type of sophistication, but it could mean that, right? So if you're looking for higher quality clients, is they are not going to fall for, some of these things, older school methods, but then also for people that aren't, let's say, as sophisticated from like a buyer perspective, is they just are not going to resonate with the messages because they've seen it over and over and over again. So the question starts to become, do you fight the levels of awareness or the levels of sophistication, right? Do you try to, take the same strategies that have been working for, and you've been doing for X amount of years and just keep trying to like make it better when hundreds, if not thousands of businesses are doing the exact same thing? Do you want to fight that and continuously see your ad dollars, the effectiveness of your ad dollars go down? Or do you want to be different and create something that no one's ever seen before? Because if you choose this second option, is you are going to get more leads, more calls, more conversations, more clients, more reviews, more referrals. You're going to get more of all those things if you just take the second option, and it's going to be way easier, right? Because you're tapping into something that not a lot of people have seen, and as a byproduct of that, because no one's seen it, it's way more effective. So I'm just going to kind of throw a wrench in this entire thing here really quickly, and I kind of mentioned it a second ago, but I'm just going to come out and say that Facebook ads do work. Right? I know that the whole purpose of this video, the title and thumbnail, stop running Facebook ads, but I want to like compare and contrast it and really dive into why this is. So if we're looking at like the general scenario of, let's say, a Facebook ad. So Facebook lead form ads, and again, name, phone number, email, you have an ad out there, get your roof replaced or get a new install or buy solar today, right? What's going to happen is you're going to average about a $20 lead cost, to be honest with you. That's much higher in competitive markets. And as you have more competition, obviously this number is going to go up. I mean, this number can go upwards of even like $50 to $100, right, per lead, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if you have a high ticket product. But we always want to try to get this number lower so we get more out of the amount that we're spending on these ads. But let's just say across the board, average, you're getting a $20 cost per lead. That's defined as name, phone number, and email through a lead form, landing page, whatever it may be. Now, here's the thing though, here's the kicker, is only about 10%, probably less than 10% of people are actually going to turn into leads. So what I mean by that is, let's say you have 100 people that come through or they see your ad, only about 10 of those people or 10 or less of those people are actually going to become a lead, right? And the reason that's important is because if we're spending $30 a day, that's maybe three, like with that math, right? That's maybe 3 leads per day. But a lot of those leads, because of the buyer levels of sophistication, this is where a lot of people, like if you've run ads before, this is where the excuse or the complaint of these leads are bad quality, right? The leads aren't bad quality. They're people, right? They're humans. They're not just, I mean, in most cases, right? They're not bots. We've had a lot of bots come through, some of our higher level funnels, but they're humans. But the reason that they're not converting is because they don't know who you are, right? They're seeing a random person online. Back to what I said, right? They're seeing some random person come up to them in the middle of their street and they're like, yo, what's your phone number? So when they put in their number, they don't know who you are, right? They have no expectation or no want to actually have a conversation with you. So back to this example, right? Yes, you might get 3 leads per day, but a lot of these, like less than 10% of those are even going to get on a call with you because they just don't know who you are, right? So again, I basically mentioned this, right? Out of all those leads, the conversion is low because you also have that lack of trust, right? They don't trust you. They don't know who you are. They don't have the know, like, and trust factor with you as a business. So I have my very amazingly drawn stick figures out here to help you understand kind of like how this is broken down. So this is, if we're talking about the 10% rule, this is 10 people that might come across your ad. Only one of those people, right, or one or less of those people based on that 10% conversion are actually going to fill out the lead form, right? So visually, you can probably see the problem is what is going on with the rest of these people, right? What do we do with the rest of those 9 people? Because you're not going to get them through the lead form because they're only seeing it one time, and based on like how much you're spending, is they're not seeing your ad as many times as they need to. I think Google has a study that in order for someone to move forward on a high ticket B2B product, and maybe I'll throw up a reference of the study, but I think it's something like 10 to 20 times they need to see you in order for you to actually take action. So these 9 people that you're paying for, by the way, right? You're paying to get in front of those people, but they're not converting. So what do we do with those other 9 people, right? Is there a way that we can actually get in front of those people and convert more of those and get much better than a 10%, if that, conversion rate? Well, yes. And the answer to that is actually using, which brings us to number 2, is the new way. The new and much better way to generate leads. So really the way that I break this down is like, if we look at it as a nutshell, it is a hyper-local Instagram or hyper-targeted local Instagram ads plus strategic content strategy. And I call it the local authority funnel, because we are local authority media. So essentially here's at a high level how this works. So instead of asking to, for their name, phone number, email at the front, all we're going to do is we're going to create an Instagram ad. It is going to be a hyper-local Instagram ad where we're calling out the audience, we're getting in front of those right people, we're doing the right targeting on the back end to make sure we get in front of the hyper-local audience. Because there's no reason to like try to make content that goes super viral or do like really broad ads, because you can't, like if you can't convert them into a client, like why would you want to have them on your page? Because it's just going to dilute your page with a ton of unqualified people that you couldn't even help in the first place, right? And then what happens is like your engagement goes down and all these other things that happen. So instead of that, we're going to create a hyper-local targeted Instagram ad that is going to call out your ideal client. And the beautiful thing about this is you only need to spend about $20 to $30 a day. Now, as you start to see more return, I mean, some campaigns and some of our other businesses, we're spending $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 per day. It's because we're seeing a pretty decent return on the back end. We have a legal money printer sitting in front of us. So, but again, you don't have to start there. We want to start somewhere, $20 to $30 a day. We found that kind of the sweet spot to start. But once you start seeing results, I mean, I've never had a client that started seeing results that wasn't like, how do I quadruple my ad spend right now, right? Now, you can't really do that in a lot of times, but well, actually, depending on the spend, you can. So I'll kind of go back on that. But I digress, 20 to 30 bucks a day on your ad. Then what's going to happen is in this ad, the call to action, right? What we say at the end of the ad is not DM me this word. It's not fill out a lead form. It's not any of these things. The CTA, right? The call to action is, hey, so if you are for mine specifically, right? Hey, if you are a Central Arkansas service-based business and you want to start generating more leads, more traffic, more referrals, more buyers, then go ahead and follow me on Instagram, and I break down the entire process for free. So this is what it looks like, right? We start to get a ton of followers on a daily basis. So this is 1, 2, 3. Oh, I can't write. This is frozen. I don't know what's going on. There it goes. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 followers. And this was on this specific campaign, I was only spending 20, 30 bucks a day. Now I'm probably spending about 75, almost $100 a day to get basically 2 to 3 times these types of results. So what happens is we get a lot, get out of here, phone call. We get a lot of people on a daily basis that come through and they actually follow the account. But here's where a lot of people mess up and they don't get as much out of that. You know, we're talking over here. They aren't able to get these other people is because the way we're going to get these people is by building and turning this lack of trust into an excess of trust. Those are plus marks, right? So an excess of trust is what we're trying to do. And the way that we do that is by creating authority building content, which what it does is it nurtures and converts the audience that you're building from this ad, from the follower, into actually creating the content to build the trust with that audience. Now, in terms of, people always ask, how much content I need to post, we'll go over the exact strategy of like the step-by-step here in a second, but I found the sweet spot if you can do every single day, 4 times a week, I think is kind of like the perfect scenario. Again, we'll go over some scripts and examples of the types of content that you create. But the whole purpose of it is you're paying for these followers over here anyway. So we might as well put content in front of them so we can actively convert and consistently just stay in front of those people, right? The reason I call it local authority is in a local market, literally nobody's doing this. You can go do your research in your market. I can almost guarantee you 98% sure no one is doing it correctly in your market. And that just leaves so much opportunity. Back to what we're talking about is because no one is doing it, is we just be different and then change to something that no one's has seen before and nobody's doing because you can benefit from that. So then what happens is, and I gave this example down here, is this from my ad, it was like the first 1 or 2 days that I was running it in my local market, as I spent $200 and I generated a $12,000 client, all paid up front. No questions asked, right? Because I had built myself as that local authority, right? So the way that happened is, or the way that it can happen is one of 2 ways. We'll talk more in detail. Is number 1 is you have conversations, right? Meaningful conversations with every new follower that comes in, or they just reach out to you, right? I kind of gave an example down here. So you get messages like, hey, I'd like to schedule an appointment after Thanksgiving. The calendar won't advance into December. Like, I did not reach out to this person. They reached out to me because they saw the content and it was building authority, because they saw the ad that got them there in the first place, is they were like, okay, this dude seems like he knows what he's talking about. Let me reach out to him. And the beauty of this, which is like, if you can kind of relate it to your own thing, is like, if you like the way that I like to compare this is people that are on Instagram that are nurtured through your content and then come to you. These are literally the warmness, if that's a word. These are the same temperature of lead, we'll use that as an example, as a referral. Because what is a referral? A referral is someone that comes from someone that person knows that refers them. And it's like there's no question of like, is this guy the right person, guy or gal? Because you've already established that you are, right? And you have a ton amount of trust. So these are referral-like leads that come from Instagram. They're coming inbound. And with a lot of times, there's no price objections. There's no price haggling. There's no, a million times for follow-up. It's like they reached out to you in the first place. It's an inbound lead. And it makes your job a million times easier to just focus on people that are coming to you versus vice versa. I guess that's the way to say it. So I want to give one example of actually a newer campaign that I launched, a 12/4. So I'm recording this on the 5th. And right now, this isn't a big thing. Like we only spent $11, but as you can see here, is we're getting 53 cent cost per result. So in this example, basically what Facebook tracks is the amount of people that actually visit the profile. So they see the ad, they click in to look at the profile itself. I got 4 new followers from this spend, $2.75 cost per follower, which is 18 new local potential clients every single day. Again, now I'm spending about $50 a day on this specific campaign. So What would you do if you had 18 people, 18 potential clients, 18 local potential clients that were coming to you on your page every single day that you can start conversations with and get inbound messages from, like referral-like leads? It'd be a dream for a lot of people, for a lot of local service-based businesses that a lot of times don't even have the Facebook ads running, that don't have any sort of marketing, and that might be you. Implement the strategy. And a good thing for you, I'm gonna break down exactly how to do it as we jump into step number 3. So step number 3, how to set this up yourself. Like, you can literally download this video, send it to your current marketing person, send it to your assistant. I don't care who you send it to. Maybe it's the assistant sending it to the owner of the company. Send it somewhere, because I guarantee if you implement this, you will be in a completely different spot and absolutely take over your market in 2026. So let's talk about the local authority funnel setup. So it's very, very simple. So as we talked about before, we have the Instagram ad, right? We're spending at 20 to 30 bucks per day. The framework of that is literally give an audience call out. So you're saying, hey, if you are we'll use a roof. I think the example that I gave was a roofing company. Yeah. So roofing company. So it's like, hey, are you a Dallas homeowner? That's it. That's literally the call out, right? Hey, if you're a homeowner here in Dallas, that's it. That's literally it, right? And then we jump into the old way versus the new way. So an old way for, let's say, a roofing company, if they want to do a new install, or let's say maybe repair the roof, it's like, hey, if you're a Dallas homeowner, you should not wait until the roof leaks until you get it figured out, so that you don't have to have a bunch of water in your house. And I say this example, I gave this example in my last video, but I was that person. I was the person that bought a house 2 years ago and didn't know that I should be looking out for shingles that are falling off my roof. I just didn't know. So I woke up one morning to my son was like, Dad, my ceiling is like brown. And I was like, oh no, I don't like the sound of this. And I go into it and it's like literally almost imploded, and it ended up imploding. And it was this massive thing, spent like $7,000 to get everything replaced. And it was not fun. So you can use that as an example in an ad or whatever if you have similar stories. But it's like, that's the old way. It's like, are you someone that is just holding off to ever get your roof inspected or get a new roof, even though you know it's a problem? Right? So that's the old way. And then you transition to the new way. So what we do at ABC Roofing is we want to make sure that you don't have to spend your hard-earned money, because if something goes wrong, it's $10,000 to $15,000 out of your pocket or through your home insurance. But what we can do is we make sure that that doesn't even happen in the first place, right? And then simple system. So the way that we work here at ABC Roofing is, number one, is we take in-depth photos. Number two is we make the quoting process very simple. And number three is we actually talk directly to your insurance, so that it makes the process as seamless as possible, right? Breaking down the 3-step system. I literally just came up with that in my head. So like you're a roofer or a contractor or an HVAC business or a solar company, what you should be saying here, right? It's probably way better than mine. But then your CTA, it's like, so if you're someone, if you are a Dallas homeowner and you want to figure out if, simple tips around how you can eliminate the problem before it even becomes a problem, then follow me here on Instagram. We give a ton of tips and strategies about how you don't have to turn to that person and lose tens of thousands of dollars. That's it. Like, literally take this video, transcribe it, put it in ChatGPT, make a script, do it. I'm giving you permission. All right, so that's the ad. That's the very basic ad structure and framework. So the next part here is the authority building content, right? Like, this is probably the most asked question that I get, not only in this industry, right, in local business markets, but I'm from like the online coaching consultant agency space, right? If you're familiar with like online courses, that's kind of my forte. That's what I've done for a long time. We're just transitioning what works there and transitioning into local. But what you're going to want to do is write out 15 to 20 frequently asked questions that potential clients have, and make a video around each of those things. So you will know, as as the owner of a company, is the problems that people face. The frequently asked questions. So what you're going to do is create 15 to 20 of those, and you're going to script out a video, or you don't even have to script it out, right? You can because you know your industry, is if someone asks you the question, like, just record yourself answering the question, right? Answering the question of, should, like, whatever it is. Actually, no, I have examples over here, right? So, number one, how do I know if my roof actually needs to be replaced, or if I can just get it repaired, right? Will my homeowner's insurance cover storm or hail damage? How long does a full roof replacement take? What types of shingles or materials last the longest in Arkansas weather, right? Specific to the market. How much does a roof replacement cost, and what affects the price? So if you just make videos around each of these things, here's the beauty of this, is not only are you establishing yourself as the authority? There's actually a little sneaky thing that happens when you do these videos, is not only are you establishing yourself as the authority, the go-to, but what you're doing is you're pre-handling objections before they get on like a quote call or a sales call with you or your team. And here's why that's important is a lot of times if someone is calling in for a quote and you have them on the phone and they don't really like it from a lead form or whatever, it's like immediately they don't even want to be in that conversation, right? They don't want to be there and be sold to. So what happens with this content is you are pre-handling those objections. So by the time they get on the call is they don't have objections. They don't have questions because you've already answered it for them because they've gone through your content. Now, are they going to never have any questions? That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you can start to pre-handle a lot of those objections. And if people do have questions, then you can just refer them to the videos, right? It's like, hey, I'd love to answer that for you. Like obviously I can answer here, but I actually put out a video on Instagram that goes through this entire process with some visuals. If you want to check it out, here's the link, right? So it builds more trust that way. But back to the sneaky with the thing that happens here, like psychologically, is if you do it the traditional way, where someone like asks for a quote or they come from a lead format or whatever, and you're answering that question on the call and they still have like hesitancies or whatever of working with you, is when you answer the question or handle their objection on the call, they're immediately in the prospect's mind is they're saying, this person, this salesperson is just saying this to make the sale. They're saying this to get me over the edge. But what happens is because they get pre-handled is you no longer sound salesy because they already know the answer to the question and you are answering that before they get on the call. So now they trust you more. So I know I'm saying this word like trust and authority and all these things, but it's like, these are the things that are drastically important going into 2026 and onwards, because look at the market, right? The market is all people that are on social media, right? The market is all people that like literally were born with a phone in their hands. So in order for us to adapt and, move with the times, I sound like I sound like an old person of like, don't get left behind, young one, right? But at the same time, it's like, it is very, very important to be able to adapt to what the market is currently doing. I mean, who are the like people that are buying homes now? People in their 20s, well, don't get me started on the market, right? But in theory, right, it's younger people, right? 20s, 30s that are buying homes. So they are going to do their research on you and they want to make sure like before they even get on a call with you, they're going to do their research. And if they do their research and nothing's there and you aren't establishing yourself as the authority, the person that is doing that is going to win the business basically every single time. So take that with for what it's worth. So anyway, those are the questions. So what is like the next piece here? How do we actually turn people into deals, right? So the way that we do that is, again, we have these local followers that are coming through. And like we talked about before, is the benefit to this is now you're getting way more bang for your buck because you have people that are following you to then be nurtured by your content. But what really this happens one of two ways. I kind of mentioned it earlier is number one, yes, obviously people can reach out to you, but we want to take more of a not aggressive, but a more proactive approach. We want to take a proactive approach to getting in front of these people. So all we're going to do is we're going to send messages to every new follower. And we're not going to be salesy with it, but we're going to say, hey, John, I appreciate the follow. You can even throw something in here. It's like, because they're local, it's like, hey, John, I appreciate the follow. Just curious, and it goes to the next thing, right? Just curious, are you here for the videos or are you actively looking for, to get your roof replaced? Are you actively looking to, get solar panels on your house, whatever it may be? But then the added bonus to this is because we're on Instagram, right? If someone's like name, phone number, email, like I guess you could like Google their name, you can go to their Facebook page, see what's going on. But all we need to do with Instagram is like, oh, this person followed me. Let's go to their profile. Let's look at their page. What if they have a family on there? Hey, thanks for the follow. Beautiful family, by the way. There's a little like added extra thing there. Maybe they have a dog. It's like, hey, you have the cutest dog ever. I have 5 of them, which I actually do. I have 5 labs. Well, 4 black labs and 1 like golden lab. So it just gives that added like personality touch to it versus just like, again, they put their name, phone number, email, you call them up, hey, what's up, John? This is ABC Roofing, blah, 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 right? It's just like, it doesn't work anymore, right? So you can connect with them more on a human basis, which by the way, with all this AI stuff coming out there, it's like, they don't even know if they're going to get outbounded by an AI receptionist. Is when I guess you could make the argument that you could do AI through this, but it's not as adapted for Instagram specifically. So even if you did, like a lot of people wouldn't even know. Working on some stuff in the background on that specifically, and I'll make a video on that soon. But this is the message. So you say, just curious, are you here for the videos? Are you actively looking for end result? And then 30% of the people, 40% of the people will probably say, we'll just say 50, right? 50% of the people are going to say, no, I'm just here for the videos, which is good because as long as you create consistent content, then you'll stay in front of them. And then the other 50% are going to say, well, no, actually, like, yeah, I followed you because we have a leak in our roof. Or, another really big thing, like especially now, I'm recording this again beginning of December. It's like if you're in a very seasonal business where it's like, let's say you're in like a hurricane area, right? Those would crush like specific ads of like, hey, the hurricane just like destroyed your roof. Here's what to do so that you can fix that, right? Or, again, what I was more referring to is my gutters right now are like completely destroyed by leaves, right? There's a lot in there and it's leading to a lot of problems. So like, because there's a lot of leaves, I mean, that would be an ad that crushes. And there's people that are like actively looking for that. So again, 50% of those people is like, yeah, by the way, like I saw your roof, your gutter cleaning thing. And yeah, I just looked up at my house and my gutters are completely filled. Or Christmas light installation. So it's like, hey, do you want your home to look beautiful for when your family comes in? Who comes into town, and then you can be the best, the best house on the block. Watch this video, follow me on Instagram, whatever. And those people are going to come to you and be like, hey, yeah, I saw that your beautiful, your installation job. I'm looking for some like to get a quote, right? Very, very simple conversation. So 50% actively looking, 50% will probably be for the content, but that's fine. Because remember, if you didn't do this, then you wouldn't be getting in front of those people and they would be gone anyway. But now we're generating new people that are actually on the page. So my promise to you is if you just even implement like one piece of this strategy, you're going to be way further ahead than anybody in your local market, because I've done the research. I've done the research on a ton of local markets, and literally nobody is doing this. Maybe in like some big like metropolitan areas, there's maybe one person that's doing it. But at the end of the day, like people are going to resonate with people that are like them. So as long as you are not like a copy and paste carbon copy of the other person or the other owner that is doing it, there's still way more to go out there for everybody that's out there. There's enough for everybody to eat. So that being said, if you're someone that you want me and my team to personally help you build out this entire process for your local business so you can do it right the first time. Again, if you can take this information and do it yourself, that's perfectly fine. I also know a lot of local businesses are very busy and they don't want to click all the buttons. So if you want someone to actually build this and install this directly in your business to make 2026 the best year ever in your business, then all you're going to do is go to Local Authority Media on Instagram, DM me this word, LAF, and I'll get in contact with you. My team will be in the DMs. I spend a lot of time in the DMs as well, and we can have a conversation. Again, it's not going to be a hard pressure sales conversation or anything. I just want to figure out, where are you currently? Where do you want to be? What's holding you back? And really dive deep into some of your markets and show you like on a screen share, nobody's doing this. If you do this, you will absolutely explode going into the new year. So again, last time here, DM me the word LAF on Instagram at Local Authority Media, and we'll have a conversation. That being said, you can also click the video on screen to check out another video here on the YouTube channel, and hopefully it's helpful. See you guys in the next one. Talk soon. Peace.